So a reverse, well, let's start with a takeover. So a takeover is a transaction or series of transactions whereby a person, that's an individual, a group, or a company, acquires control over the assets of a company, right? So that may be straightforward to most, but you may not, I guess, fully understand what a reverse takeover may be. So let's talk about that one. So a reverse takeover now, which is really the topic that I wanted to talk about today, is a process by which a private company becomes publicly traded without going through the initial public offer. So we know that, well, the typical path to being a publicly listed company is through the IPO. I think everybody understands the basics of an IPO, but what you may not appreciate is the process, right? So it's quite a lengthy process. There are a lot of things that you need to have in place. There's a lot of, behind the scenes work involved, and there's also a higher cost, right? So a reverse takeover now presents an opportunity for a company, for a private company to now become listed without having to go through that IPO process, right? So of course, there are some pros and cons of that. That's what we're going to talk about. So if you think about it, well, let's use the example of Ciboney, right? That's what we're going to talk about here. So Ciboney was taken over by FinSac in the 1990s, and some of you may not have been around at that time, but I certainly was. And then so FinSac would have sold now shares in Ciboney to the IEC Energy Company Limited back in June of 2023. And that would have been sold at a specific share price, right? So the public company Ciboney was taken over by FinSac, and then of course FinSac would now have the ability to sell those shares to someone who's able to purchase those shares, right? So there's about 72% of the company that FinSac had, and so they're able to sell these shares. And this has been a story on our stock exchange in Jamaica for a while, right? I found articles going back to maybe 2020, 2021 talking about this. And so now, because of that acquisition of shares, the IEC Energy Company is able to now merge its operations with Ciboney, and through that now become a listed company, right? So there's some things that would usually happen from here, like normally you change a company name, which is one of the things they would have gotten approval for at their last AGM. And the reason why you do that, of course, is that you don't want, I guess, the public, persons who may relate to the company, to think about the former company that you have now taken over, right? The market has treated with Ciboney a certain way over the past couple of years. And so the innovative energy group would want to, I guess, kind of move away from that, right? So even in the conversations that you've seen with them, they're focusing a lot on saying, it's the new Ciboney, this idea that they want you to not think about it as the old company, which has seen some interesting trading patterns. But now they're able to now integrate their operations with the company, and then from then they're able to now fulfill the mandate of the company, which is clearly from the name focused on energy. And we're going to see a little bit about that in the interview in terms of what their focus is, etc. All right. So I wanted to take a quick look at Ciboney here. You're looking at the chart for the last 12 months, right? And it's up 200% over the last 12 months, right? And if you look at that sharp spike in the graph, you'll see it's around June of last year, right around the time that the announcement would have been for that purchase of shares being completed, right? Lots of articles published about it. You can learn more about it there. But of course, you've seen that this has led to more trading of the company, higher price for the company, and of course, everybody is kind of waiting to see what now becomes of the company moving forward. They'll be doing things like officially renaming the company, and they've started to make a thrust in terms of marketing and promotion, just to let you know what their plans are. All right. Some details about Ciboney. A lot of this is suspected to change in the next few months. So, for example, there have been talks of a capital raise that's needed to execute the projects for the Innovative Energy Group. So these shares outstanding may very well change. Market cap currently is 851 million. And then, of course, it's trading between $1.50 and $1.65. And as I mentioned, in the last, in the last year or so, it would have, taken a, great strides in terms of the stock price.